The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Joining me today are Brian and Noah. Anya is not here because she is in Canada and they don't have Wi-Fi in Canada. So it's not working wherever she is.
Nova Scotia?
Where is she?
She's in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like at a cabin on a lake. So she's
More like
not
Nova
here. But
Internet.
Brian. What?
Nova
Like
Internet.
no.
Yeah, I used the word no at the beginning of Nova. It is a pun for no.
Before we got started on the show today, just seconds ago, Noah and Brian were remembering local TV ads in the New York area. And Noah had one that Brian didn't recognize. And then Brian said Cellino and Barnes.
Yeah, Cellino and Barnes is a injury attorneys in New York area, and they had a catchy phrase.
I think I know Cellino and Barnes.
You do?
Maybe I know it from living in New York.
Sure. No, they were there when you were there.
But I don't think I watched TV in New York. How would I have seen this? I'm very confused. But maybe I did.
Maybe
I
on
don't
the
remember
radio.
my...
They didn't have, it was TV
I wasn't
ads.
listening to the local radio either, but I do know maybe they, Subway ads or something. Okay, anyway, so what about Cellino and Barnes? Did you want to tell us? And you said, save it for the show.
Well,
Everyone needs to hear this. This better be good. I'm just kidding.
Pressure's on.
First of all, nothing I say is worthy of that type of. Noah, do you remember the Cellino and Barnes theme
Yes.
song?
Cellino and Barnes, injury attorney, call 888-8888.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, Barnes is dead. Barnes has died.
Okay. Just died?
He died. No, it was a couple of years ago, but he died in a helicopter crash.
Holy fuck.
What?
Yeah, it was.
Wait, I do remember this.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, he died in a helicopter crash, or maybe it was like a small plane, but he was flying it and he died. So it's like, yeah, it's tragic, but also like he was flying the plane, so people are like, okay, well, he took the risk and he didn't pan out. But what's funny about it, or not funny, but what's interesting about it is that the billboards around the city that used to say Cellino and Barnes, within like 10 days, it was just Cellino, injury attorney.
Oh, he was so excited to
he-
finally get Barnes out of the way.
Yeah, I bet you he was ready to break up with Barnes. He was sick of having Cellino and Barnes. He wanted it to be just Cellino, 888-8888. And now he's got it.
The song?
I haven't heard any song yet, but it makes me wonder if there's a conspiracy theory that perhaps Cellino sabotaged the helicopter.
Really?
I mean, it's my conspiracy theory.
Oh, I just would love to see him get the call that it happened. That's footage I want to see. Of like, no. And he's writing things down right away, and he's waving it for his secretary. Get on the billboards. He's out. He's done.
Oh, this happened
He does like a
last
mime
year.
of a plane going into his desk. She's like, no. She's crying. He's like, get over it. Move on these billboards. Get Barnes' name out of there. There's something so man, when I hear of a plane crash, I'm on it. I want to know everything about it. That's why I know about this. Like just a tragedy like that.
Yeah.
God. I got really into who is the woman? Patsy Cline died in a plane crash. Read about her a lot the other day. Had no idea that she died that way. And it's so tragic. And she used to have premonitions that she was going to die. She used to tell people she was in a really bad car crash where she almost got scalped to death a couple years before her plane crash. And she survived that. And then the plane, not so much. And God, there was one I read about over the weekend that was, oh God. Oh,
There's
this
a couple
is so bad.
plane crashes over the
This
weekend.
girl, was there?
I think maybe you're about to talk about the one at the air show or something.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I did read about that last night. There's, in my Reddit search of last images, where it's the last image of a person, there was a guy taking a selfie, and behind him was this pilot that was standing on the wing of her plane being like, I'm getting ready to go up and fly. And it was that she died. And then there was
God.
a crash at an air show, and then the air show kept going. And then there was another crash or something like that.
Oh my God.
At the same air show. They were like, we just got to keep going. And then there was another one. That's just what I read in a Reddit comment. So who knows if it's true. But this was also in Last Images, where I read all my morbid stuff. It was a girl in a helicopter with her it was a screenshot from like the video. And she's in a helicopter with her brother and she's in a wedding gown. She had the idea to surprise her groom by helicoptering instead of being walked down the aisle, I'll helicopter in, and he has no idea. So he's waiting. Everyone's waiting at the ceremony. Here comes the bride. And they all start getting alerts on their phone. This is what I'm guessing, because it kind of said something like this, that there was a helicopter crash a mile away, and no one at the wedding knew that she was coming in by helicopter because it was a surprise.
Oh my God.
Except one person. So that one person was probably like, there was what? Wait, sorry, share that with me. There was a mile away. Okay. Oh God.
No.
Oh God. And had to like tell people. And it was really foggy. Guys, if it's fogging up,
Yeah. Not
don't go
worth
in a
it.
helicopter.
Just don't go in a helicopter.
Don't go in a helicopter. I did it in Hawaii, and it was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life, going over this like cliff that had a waterfall, and then you just right over it. You're like, it's all grass beneath you, and then you go over it, and it's like Jurassic Park, and it's like this huge. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Still not worth it now that I think back on it, because I could have died. And I just get so nervous about those propellers. I have dreams where all I'm doing is ducking as I'm walking into near a helicopter. You ever hear about people that are like plane propellers, that they're just walking out of the plane and
Yes.
Oh my God.
and they just walk right into it because you can't see it?
I mean, I don't seek
Jesus
this stuff
Christ.
out, so I haven't seen the specific story about it, but I do know that I'm very mad at places like seemingly innocent publications like People magazine, because they just love, and on my news app, when they pop up, it's always something like bride and groom die on the way to their wedding, or
I gotta subscribe then.
man who just
tired of-
had
I
a
thought it was-
baby had his
It's fear
arms cut
porn.
off.
It's
Yeah.
it's fear porn. People get addicted to
Yeah,
that.
it kind of is. And I love being scared of things and having my fears validated. Because I'm not doing this stuff anyway, so it makes me feel like, good job, Nikki. You're not going skydiving.
Yeah.
You're not going to a rodeo. You're not going to a monster truck rally.
Mhm.
This is the right thing to do. Which, by the way, what is the point of a monster truck rally? Is it really? I mean, people could say the same thing about a Taylor Swift concert. I really want to understand, is it very exciting to see cars go way up in the air and like fall in some mud? Like,
They
I
smash
just
other
don't
cars,
get-
though. They smash other cars, too.
But
That's
why
fine.
is that entertaining? I realized another fear of mine over the weekend because I went to go see Barbie, and there was a ad for. I usually love, trailers, but there's just too much action going on. I close my eyes during any car chase scene. It is not the fear of the crash. I don't like when a beautiful new car, even there was a Barbie chase scene. I closed my eyes during it. If anyone listening saw Barbie, there's a scene where she is in like definitely a Chevy truck that they bought an ad for, because it's all Chevys chasing each other. And this Chevy, like you press a button and it goes faster. There's not that button in the Chevy that you buy. I don't understand why they even like are selling. People are going to be like, where's that button that makes you go hundreds of miles an hour faster than the cops? Anyway, she's in a Chevy, and it's like I don't like watching new cars go up on curbs and like have their axles like disrupted. It really, really bothers me, because there's going to be I hate hitting a bump, or like, and in car chases, they're always going over curbs and they're braking really fast, and then there's smoke, and I'm like, oh, the tires are being damaged. I don't like watching damage.
Interesting.
You only
To
like it
people
when
either. I don't like watching people get like
you
fall
love hearing
down
about
or-
people getting damaged. Why don't you like?
I like hearing about like complete destruction. Like I didn't mind the cars that are like being slammed into each other and like they're totaled. But if you still have to drive that Chevy around after it's been in this chase, I feel like its alignment is going to be off. It's a brand new car. You're just ruining it. I think I also have like my mom's voice in my head, like, you just got this car, Nick. And my dad being like, my dad talks about car alignment more than his love of his grandchildren. Like there's every car, the alignment's off. I got to get the tires rotated. Every single car, the alignment's off. Any curb you hit, any little bump, the alignment's off. So I have that kind of paranoia. But I don't like car chasing scenes, although there was an ad for this new movie called Gran Turismo, which is going to bomb probably. but it's about like people who play the Gran Turismo video game and then they are recruited to like play it.
Oh,
And there's a guy in it that I find myself wildly attracted to, and I don't know what happened. I've seen this guy before. I was never into him, and then he showed up on the trailer, and I was like, that guy's hot. And it made me feel the same way I felt as like a young girl when I talk about it on stage sometime when I first was attracted to JFK Jr. when I was in 8th grade. I was like, I'm a woman now because I'm like attracted to a man. And this guy, I feel like I'm growing up because there's just, when you start getting attracted to 50, 60-year-old men, like you're like, oh, I'm just getting older. Like my body's just regulating to what I deserve now because my skin is older. So who's the guy it's
David Harbour?
He's yes.
The guy from Stranger Things, the sheriff from
Oh,
Stranger
and I
Things.
haven't seen Stranger Things, but my God, there's something about him in this. He just seems kind and giant.
Yeah, that's his.
And he's a very big man.
That's the characters he plays.
Kind and giant.
Yeah.
And he seems a little stern in this one too. Like he's not putting up with these little gamers bullshit.
That's exactly what he does.
He doesn't believe in them.
That's him in Stranger Things. He's a sheriff.
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I saw the first episode of Stranger Things. I do remember him in it. I've seen this guy before. He's married to
Lily
Lily Allen.
Allen,
Don't
yeah.
even think I didn't research it.
Okay.
She's my age. Not that I want a chance with this guy. I'm very happy in my relationship, but I was like, new attraction unlocked. I've never been attracted to anyone who looks like him, even remotely. This is like he's just a burly man,
Looks
like
like
a
a
bear
bear.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's-
Never have been into a bear. I like kikis. I don't like boobas.
He's definitely got a
No one knows what
he's definitely typecast as a tough, lovable guy. Like he was in
kind
Black,
of a doofus.
Yeah, he was in the Black Widow movie as he played a Russian, at first villain who was really tough, but then it turns out that he was a sweet man. And then he was in,
He's got a kindness. He looks like he could be Bigfoot.
or he could be Santa Claus, which he was in Violent Night, where he played Santa Claus defending a house from intruders and killing people violently.
Oh, I did see that picture of him on that, and I thought he was like in a horror movie about Santa. But no, he's a good guy in that too.
Yeah, I think it's more like in the genre of like Cocaine Bear, where it's just like so over the top ridiculous
Right.
that it's funny but also entertaining.
Well, that was a new thing for me. I did see Barbie this weekend, and it was everything I wanted it to be. You know, I tempered my expectations because it was so built up, and I was thinking this is going to be the next Mean Girls, like this seminal comedy classic that I would revisit the rest of my life. Was it that? No, it wasn't that. I don't need to ever see Barbie again. I might need to see it if I would watch it with Chris again, and I would like to get his take on it. I would like to watch it with the girls trip, get your guys' take on it. That's the only reason I really want to see it again, but not because it wasn't good. Do you ever see a movie where you're like, you leave and you go, oh, that was okay, but then you can't stop thinking about it and you go, wait a second, I think it was probably really good. Because
Sure.
you should be able to get a bad movie, it should leave your head right away. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm thinking a lot about what just happened. So it was like that for me. It was my favorite part of the whole movie. I told Brian this last night, but
Oh, we need Anya's spoiler horn.
this isn't a spoiler.
Okay, good.
I just sound like I'm having an asthma attack, like a fucking porpoise having a seizure. Okay. I don't know how she does it, but there's just one line that really, first of all, here, let me just give you some headlines, and these aren't spoilers. And this everyone has heard. If you've read anything about Barbie, you know this stuff. Ryan Gosling is a comedy treasure. I want to go back and watch everything he's ever done just in search of sponging out any even morsel of comedy. Although I will say, he was really funny in that Wild Crazy Love, or What Crazy Fucked Up Love. There's some movie where he like is training Steve Carell's character to be Crazy Stupid Love.
Mm-hmm.
He was great in that, and he was kind of funny and charming. I mean, he's always charming. But my God, him as Ken. I mean, you've seen the trailers for it, I'm guessing, where he's just like, there's this one trailer that doesn't give anything away. It's in the trailer. Everyone calm down. Where she's like, he's injured and he's at the doctor And they're like, you're healed. In the sentence that I'm talking to you, you've healed completely because it's Barbie land and everything is fine. And then he's like, Barbie, you know my job isn't even lifeguard. It's not even lifeguard. My job is beach. And she goes, I know, Ken. And he's like, cool, Barbie. And then he goes like, Barbie, can I come? So Ken's whole existence is based on whether Barbie looks at him. That's like the first line of the movie is like, and there's a narrator that's like, and Ken's only purpose is if Barbie talks to him that day. And so she's like, hi, Ken. And he's like, yeah. And then she says hi to another Ken and he's like, sad again. And he's so fucking good. You got to see the movie just for him and also to stare at Margot Robbie's stunning face the whole time. It's just fun to watch her face. She is incredible. So there is one part that I love, and this is my favorite line in the whole thing, and I'm not ruining any of the plot by saying this, but there is a moment where Barbie is bedraggled looking, and her beauty has been kind of stripped away, and it's this pivotal moment where she's realizing that like all of her worth was in her beauty almost, and now she's ugly. And she doesn't feel like she's worthwhile anymore. And she's telling America Ferrera's character, like, and I'm ugly now. And she's supposed to look ugly, man. She has no makeup. Her hair is flat. She's like laying on the ground. Her face has been in the AstroTurf. And she rolls over and she's like, and I'm ugly and no one will love me. She says something like that. And then the movie pauses. And oh my God, I had the quote saved. Let me just pull up the quote really quick. I know this is annoying, because I screenshotted it because I wanted to get it right. It says, during the heartbreaking speech, Barbie admits that she never feels good enough and not pretty enough, despite essentially being the perfect woman. It's then that the narrator, who has been silent for most of the film, chimes in with, note to filmmakers, Margot Robbie is not the right person to cast to make this point. And it was so refreshing because what movie in the middle of the movie says the actor's like name? Which is insane. But you can tell that they made this adjustment because they were I would love to interview, if I ever talked to Greta Gerwig, I would ask her, when did you put that line in? Because was it after, you were probably watching it, you were probably doing screenings, and it just wasn't resonating, and you needed to address the obvious, which was this woman's too beautiful, and to prove a point about women feeling ugly, you're using the wrong person. And they probably just went into ADR the next day and were like, let's just quickly get this line from Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren was probably in a hotel room in Prague, like with a blanket over her head, just being like, note to filmmakers. And she was like, I'm doing this line.
Helen Mirren was the narrator?
Yeah.
My God, Helen Mirren is doing everything. She is doing,
really?
I mean, she is, well, she's narrating all sorts of things. She's saying yes to things that she shouldn't say yes to. Like
what?
She was the host of the Harry Potter quiz show that was on Hulu. And she clearly like didn't get like what the point of the show was, and maybe didn't really see Harry Potter or something, because every time she would ask a question, she would read it like a grandmother referencing something that her grandchild likes.
Like the quote unquote jiggy with it.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
In the movie. And then she'd have to make, she was supposed,
Hufflepuffs.
Every time there is a game show or there is something like that needs to be hosted, you need to cast a comedian. It is so awkward when an actor like Helen Mirren is forced to make a funny retort or witty banter or something in a situation like that. It's crazy.
Agree more.
So in that game show, she's like, yeah, so she says things like that. In the first Harry Potter film, Hermione Granger did magic for which house? And then they have to guess, and they're like, Hufflepuff. And then she has to make like a joke because they got it wrong, and that's like an easy question. So she'll say something like, oh no, it appears the Quidditch snitch got out of your hand. And it's like, clearly someone wrote that for her who's not funny, and then she delivered it as if, because she didn't really know what the words meant, but she said them. That's what it felt like the whole show. People
just think that anyone can do this stuff because they're famous and that's enough. And it, oftentimes it is enough that they're famous, and that's good enough. But you're so right. There's so many awkward hosts of things, and just because they're famous, and it's excruciating to watch. And thank God for that, because comedians, being stand-up comedians, it's like we get bored of stand-up. We like to do other things. We're not always the best actors. Like, people don't trust us to put us in that stuff. But thank God we can do that shit. But we have to take a break. We'll be right back with Helen Mirren. She said yes to coming on our show. She just does anything. All right, we're back. So I saw the Barbie movie, and I was delighted.
You went
by
alone.
It was fun. I went alone. Yeah, I was coming back from a lunch with my friend Lizzie, and then I was just like, man, I've got a whole afternoon of nothing to do, which I'm very uncomfortable with. And even though I complain about being overscheduled all the time, and I was like, I do want to see Barbie. It's like one thing that I haven't wanted to do anything like this in so long, but it was like, I really want to go see that. I want to be a part of the zeitgeist. I want to be able to talk about it with people, even though no one in my life has seen it. No one has seen it. I tried desperately last night. I'm working on this project, and there was one girl who's seen it, and I was trying to flag her down to be like, can we talk about it? But none of my girlfriends have seen it. None of my family has seen it. No one in my life has seen it. I could have waited. But anyway, I want to talk about it desperately with people. But
what are your
so I
thoughts
wanted to
on
go.
the Barbenheimer phenomenon?
I mean, my friend Lizzie saw Oppenheimer, and she has a new joke that she was like, I saw 3 movies this weekend. It was Oppenheimer, which I like because
So fucking long.
it's too long.
Mhm.
Barbie's an hour and 54 minutes.
Yeah.
I checked. I any movie I put in my phone, Google just fills in because it knows that I need to know running time.
Yeah.
I need to know how long this motherfucker's going to take. And you bet your ass I knew exactly I looked at my phone the minute the trailers were over, so I could go 1 hour and 54 minutes from this time I will be out of here. I'm just always looking for things to be over. But yeah,
I get that.
Oppenheimer, she said there was too much music in it. Like, there's a beach scene and it's like dun, 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 dun. There's like he's going to bed and they're like like it's like the music is constantly swelling to this crescendo of anxiety. And yeah, I just hear it's super anxious, but I do want to see it just so I know references, and I would like to see it with Chris, and I would like to see it when we can pause it, because that was something I wanted to do during the Barbie movie. I missed a good chunk because I had to go to the bathroom at one point, and I wanted to pause it, but I couldn't do that.
But you know about the Barbenheimer phenomenon? This meme?
Well, I know about people going to see a double feature, but not many people did, because Oppenheimer only has made 300 million and Barbie has made 700 million. So
yeah, well, they definitely drafted off of each other, and certainly Oppenheimer, I think, drafted off of Barbie, because I don't think it would have been as popular if not.
No,
for
I had no idea even what that movie was until it was all attached to Barbie.
It's like a different.
Well,
it's like the Dark Knight fans, and then and Inception and stuff.
So on Boy Reddit, they were talking about Oppenheimer a lot. Like, Chris already knew about it as soon as I was like, what is this Oppenheimer thing? Because I just only knew it as attached to Barbie. But what a great marketing scheme.
Well, I think that they didn't plan this. I think this is the internet being sarcastic and ironic and saying that they're going to go see both movies. And then the studios just fucking hit the jackpot. It was an organic meme that people only liked it because it was so stupid. It happens on the internet all the time, where something is so stupid that people then sarcastically and ironically pretend that they love it. So people did go see both movies. And what I'm not looking forward to is the next movie that those execs have. They're going to think that they're going to have a huge hit on their hand based on their genius, whatever.
Paddington Turismo.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to go see Paddington 2 and Gran Turismo, and people are going to be like, no, sorry, nice try.
And it's like, you're not a genius. You didn't do anything to make all that money on Oppenheimer and Barbie. It was because people found something randomly so stupid that they went and did it, and you're not going to be able to recreate that. And I can just picture the exec being like, yeah, I did Oppenheimer. I think I know what I'm doing around here. And then they're going to fucking have a flop. Their next movie, whoever the execs or producers of the people who made Oppenheimer, their next movie will be a flop. You heard it here. It's going to bomb. It's probably going to be like it's probably going to be like a $1 billion budget. And it's going to make like 300 million or something. I guarantee it.
Do you guys know what Barbie is about? Because one of the reason I wanted to see Barbie more than anything was like, what the fuck? How are they going to make this a feminist statement? Like, what are they doing with it? What could the plot possibly be? Chris and I were also talking about this. Like, how could this be a funny script? Like, how could they make a like Barbie is a big deal, but it's not. I'm sorry. I think it's taking on this cultural importance that it really didn't have. Like they're making a story about how Barbie is in all of our lives and has been with us all along. When I gotta say, we all stopped playing with Barbie, and they even say it in the movie around 5 years old. And it's not like it's, if you maybe have some kind of Down syndrome or something, Barbie has stayed in your life until your adulthood. And that is no shade on people with Down syndrome, but they tend to like childlike things well into their adulthood. Barbie is an afterthought. And it wasn't that I didn't feel empowered by Barbie. It didn't make me feel like I could go and get a job and be an astronaut. Maybe it did. Like maybe the Barbie, the vet made me go, oh, I could be a vet. And it's as easy as like, there's just a picture of a dog skeleton on the wall. And that's all I have to do all day is just have a stethoscope with a paw print on it. And there's a dog skeleton on my wall. And I get to pet little dogs all day and I get to wear cute little outfits. But Barbie did not impact me this much. I think that was part of their marketing scheme, was to sell us on the idea that Barbie was a huge part of our lives when it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what the plot was? Can you guys guess like what it's about?
Well, from what I've heard some things about it, but I'm going to guess that Barbie is in Barbie Land and then she gets zapped into the human world.
Yes.
That's the guess.
And she shows them that women can do anything.
Right. So the
women.
loose premise is that Barbie Land and real life are separate, which, okay, that's great. That makes it so it can be a thing. And Mattel is aware of Barbie Land and likes to keep Barbie Land as Barbie Land. And Barbie Land has the disillusionment that they've solved everything for women. In Barbie Land, all the women are like in charge of everything. Every woman is a Supreme Court justice.
Wait.
Every woman wins a Nobel Prize. Every woman, and men are just like less than women are in the real world. Like they're an afterthought. No one even knows where they live. They're just there. And like every night is girls' night. Ken always goes home alone. No one even knows where he goes. He's just there. It's Barbie and Ken.
And this world is created by a large corporation called Mattel.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But Mattel's not controlling it. It's not like Truman Show. It's just, it's the world. Mm-hmm. And they walk around on their tiptoes. And then things start to go haywire where Barbie starts to like have thoughts of death and like have flat feet. And this is in the like beginning of the movie. And they realize that there's some kind of, you can make up anything. They're like, there is a portal that's open and somehow the real world thoughts of like what the real world is like for women is entering into Barbie Land, and all the Barbies are freaking out that she has flat feet, and they're like, oh my god, you have to go see Weird Barbie. And Weird Barbie is this Barbie that represents like the Barbie that has like cut hair and like marker on her face, and like girls like is always in the splits, and that's played by Kate McKinnon, who is genius. Anyway, I thought it was very interesting how they did it, and I'm always curious, like, when you have the concept of like, what's a Barbie movie? I don't know how they're going to do Polly Pocket, the movie, but I guess it's being made. Like they're going to try to recreate this for every toy.
It's an epidemic in Hollywood. I mean, every fucking
Polly
show
has
and
no
movie.
Story.
It doesn't matter. Hollywood execs are afraid to make new things these days. All they do is make things with pre-existing IP, unless it's made, like then? Even Oppenheimer is a historical thing. But if you can attach a someone who already had a successful thing, then they can make what they want. But if it's a new person, it can either be superheroes or it can be pre-existing IP. There must be something attached. They're running out.
Yeah, people are talking about how Barbie is a new concept. No, it's pre-existing IP.
Yes.
So it really wasn't anything original.
Gran Turismo is pre-existing IP.
Yeah, everything.
Yes.
Just like
every
I mean,
yeah, there's a new Marvel DC character coming out, Beetlebug or something.
Yeah, there's the Blue Beetle, which is DC's. So DC is like, there's a radioactive bug who bites somebody and then they get superpowers, and they're gonna just pretend like we didn't already see 7,000 Spider-Man movies.
I mean, insane. That movie looks truly atrocious. It's just like Granny has a gun. Like the pivotal moment in the movie is in the trailer where it's all of a sudden a granny, like someone's abuelita
Yeah.
like has a huge machine gun and they're like, Granny, no. And she's like, I got it, kids. And it's like, why did you show us that? Like, that is the funniest thing that happens in the movie because it's all they have. Trailers suck now. They just give away everything. That's why I didn't even watch the Barbie trailer.
It's
If they would have left the foot moment for the Barbie trailer, like that would have been a crucial moment there's funny stuff that happens, but they gave away all the funny moments in Barbie. And I just gave away another one that actually would have been saved. But yeah, the Barbie movie did make me, later on I did like 9 sets this weekend. Not like 9, I did 9 sets this weekend. And I was getting into some like feminist stuff that was maybe sometimes a little bit over the top. And at one point I go, listen, I know it's hard for men too. I saw Barbie and the crowd fucking exploded because it was exactly what that movie was about. Was like, men don't want to see it because it's like, oh, it's anti-men. I guess like some right-wing people are like up in arms about don't go see Barbie because it's a feminist movie. Like that would be such a horrible thing, I guess. But
that was me.
It's yeah, you were a talking head on I was almost going to say Tucker Carlson, but that's not on anymore.
Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah, I don't know any Fox and Friends. Gutfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, it what it did, if anything, it made me feel like bad for men and make me go like, oh, men need to be supported more and need more emotional support. They're kind of lost, which I guess is also not a good, like, you know, Fox and Friends people would think that's men aren't lost. They don't need to cry.
No,
but
it's
it
a
was
tough
about
time for
that.
men these days. You know, we got to grapple with the with the fact that people are questioning our power.
Well, yes, it's that. I mean, listen, I love playing that card of like, oh, poor men, you've had it good for so long. Now it's our turn. Wah, wah. Oh, you can't cry. You're sad and isolated. But the truth is they are. Men are. Men don't have as many, like, men don't have girls' chats. Men don't have emotional support. They don't need it as much because women are just fucking bananas when it comes to emotions. But there is a problem there. And men don't need to be mocked for being like, having a stiff upper lip and like being a little bit and being angry, because they have like a lot of rage hormones that we don't have, that thank God we don't have it, that they don't know what to do with.
There is a great book that is on my reading list. I actually started reading it a while ago and then I stopped, and it talks about how men handle depression and their communication is so different than the way women do it. It's actually a book that's written for men, not really, you know, but it still gives like a good view of it for other people who might want to read it. It's Terrence Real, who I'm reading his other book. It's called I Don't Want to Talk About It.
Oh yeah.
And
what a great what a great title.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how men the most of the men that I know handle any kind of
they handle depression by actually like doing stuff. So it's like they will go and they'll start hitting nails into like a wooden plank and fix up the porch or something. That's how they handle depression. And we turn to our girlfriends to actually talk and have like emotional
and process
compatibility. Yeah.
Well, does building a porch help them process it though? Like, is that helpful, or is it like they're just building a porch around their problems?
No, it's that is how they cope.
And so it does work
for them. Yes.
I mean, I just keep saying they and them. Like, what? Like, I mean, I'm a man. I'm not building a porch when I get upset.
Well, you might do something else.
Brian, you're different. You're different. You have like a more feminine energy in that way. Like Brian has friends that he talks to about his feelings. For men listening who don't have that, like, is that something you've always had? Is it something you realized you were lacking? Like, you do seem to process your feelings in a way that I relate to, at least. That's why we're not including you in this.
Yeah, get
out.
I don't know. I think there's just men who are like me, and there are men who, bury everything and hammer nails into wood in order to get rid of their feelings. But I mean, I did go to therapy for a really long time, but I think I'm done. I don't think I have to go back.
Did you think you were a pussy for going? Like, was it hard to get you to go the first time? Like, how did you get in there?
No, not at all. I thought it was great. I never thought I was a pussy, and I do know. I think there is cultural, with people who, when they grow up and are around, maybe your older brother calls you a pussy for going to therapy or something like that, and then it gets beaten out of you that way. Or if you're on the football team, and that's why there's a lot of football teams like the Indianapolis Colts who they're like, their charity, you know, every football team's got like here's our, you know how like Pepsi is like, we're going to do houses for dogs or whatever. Indianapolis Colts charity is kick the stigma of talking about your mental health. So it is like a thing in sports too, but I never had a problem with it. And I think I'm open with complaining about all sorts of things. So I think that's where it comes from is I'll just complain and I'll just go on and on. I talk a lot. I just talked a lot just now.
No, like what? I mean, welcome to the show. I mean, that's, you do talk a lot. You talk things out and you have a more analytical approach to talking. You're not as feelings-based as facts-based, I've noticed when you talk.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably more masculine. But you do have a lot of logic and like your mattress saga has been a fascinating one to live through. Brian bought a Tempur-Pedic mattress. And I'm not joking you. Let me just tell Noah, how many hours do you think Brian spent at the mattress store the day that he purchased his mattress before making that purchase? How many hours do you think he spent just at one mattress store? Was it one mattress store, Brian?
Yeah, it was at one mattress store, Tempur-Pedic.
Okay. Yeah, how many hours?
I mean, I can't imagine spending more than like an hour and with the buying process, maybe like an hour and a half. But knowing
that this question is probably a significant amount of time and it's Brian, like what would you guess if you were a betting woman that it's you know, I know what you and I would do is probably like more than an hour and a half is like excruciating. But what do you think Brian did?
So if you didn't frame the question in a way where I would be able to tell that he spent probably like 5 hours at the store, I think I would say that Brian went to the store multiple times to just be sure.
No, it's one time. One time.
So I don't know. I guess I'm thinking about how long I spent and I just knew it like immediately. So I would say like an hour and a half.
Okay, Brian, how many hours did you spend at the store before you
first of all, this was the second time I went to the store.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Cumulatively, it's more than this. But the day I bought the bed, I spent 6 hours at the mattress store.
6?
And I kept saying, am I the most annoying mattress purchaser you guys have ever had? And they're like, no. And then they did that thing where they go up into falsetto and they
also turn over to different shifts of people.
Well, that's what happened. It got to be so long that I said to a guy, there's two guys, and one of the guys like, well, I'm going to take my lunch break. And so he left. And then I turned to the other guy and I was like, do you need a lunch break? I mean, we've been here for like three and a half hours. And he's like, no, I don't need a lunch break. Actually, you know, I actually get a little bonus for pushing my lunch break. So it's actually good that you're here for so long because I can get a little bit of money because you're here for so long on my lunch break.
What are you doing?
Makes no sense to me how you could spend this long of a time and you have someone assisting you the entire 6 hours. No point where you like go take a nap, you guys?
I said to the guy, I was like, don't you need a lunch break? And he said, no, I get a little bump. And then another...
But he's just hanging out with you for 6 hours? Have you seen him since?
I lay down and then I say, Yeah, so I go there every few days and lay down and we...
You lay down on each mattress for 15 minutes?
You have to lay down for 15 minutes to get a feel for it. So I told the guy, I said, you don't have to lay here next to me or to stand around and watch me lay. Just go do whatever you want and I'll let you know when I need you. And he said, fine. And then an hour and a half passed and he comes up to me and he goes, listen, I really got to get lunch. I'm really hungry. And I was like, so go get lunch. Like he was the guy who was like, don't worry about it. I don't need lunch.
Yeah.
And then he's like, listen, enough time. I didn't think you were going to be here for 5 hours. I need to get lunch. So I was like, I'll tell you what. I'll go get lunch also, and then you get lunch, and then we'll reconvene after a lunch break. So we did that. I left for 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
I got a smoothie, and then I came back, and we both took a lunch break, and then finished the 6 hours. And then I tried all of these mattresses. I laid in. Did
you fall asleep at any of them? It was like 15 minutes. You would just lay there and like toss and turn, or like, what would you do for 15 minutes? Would you be on your phone, or would you just stare at the wall? Like, what are you doing?
Sometimes I'd be on my phone, and sometimes there'd be another customer. There was this other guy who was also looking for a mattress, and we laid in bed together, and we talked about the bed for 15 minutes. That guy wound up buying a different bed than me. There is another guy who came in who had the same story as me, where he's like, and he was definitely rich. I mean, he did not give a fuck about buying the mattress. He was like, I will drop 50. He kept saying, This guy came in and he kept saying to the guy, he's like, I have a mattress. I don't like it. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on this mattress and it was the worst money I ever spent. It was this outrageous amount of money and I was not comfortable in it. My wife hates it. And so we just want to get a new mattress. And I was like, oh yeah, I did the same thing. I bought a really expensive mattress. I had it for 3 years and I hate it. And then I was like, yeah, it was like I spent like $5,000 on a mattress. I threw $5,000 at him and I could just see it in his eyes. He's like, I'm not telling you how much I spent on my mattress because it was probably something like $20,000 to $30,000, which you can buy
Oh my God.
a custom made like fancy mattress for that. Because he looked
Why didn't
like
you say I'll buy your mattress from you and try it out? Because that guy's just going to put it out on the street. Rich people don't care about reselling things.
yeah, well, I wanted a Tempur-Pedic and so did he. But
Oh, right.
he just looked like a Beverly Hills rich guy, and I was like, $5,000 mattress is the equivalent of getting a Wayfair clearance sale mattress to him. But then he wound up
Yes.
buying the most expensive mattress in the store.
So did you.
So did I. A different firmness level, but I got the same one, and I fucking hate it. I spent 6 hours in that store laying in all the
So
mattresses.
This didn't work for you,
No.
the 6 hours.
No, it would have been better off.
Because I asked Brian, the reason I know about 6 hours is he's talking about this mattress that, he has and he hates. And I hate to be like my mom because my mom would just go, then why did you buy it, Nick? And it's like, well, I didn't know I was going to hate it. The answer to that is like, because I didn't know. But I eventually asked Brian, why did you buy this mattress if you knew what you wanted and it goes against what you want? Because Brian wanted a Tempur-Pedic because he wanted that like sinking feeling where it like encapsulates you.
Yeah.
But then he ended up buying like a hybrid that's like a half spring, half that. So it's like it was called the Lux.
The Lux Breeze
Sl-
medium hybrid, and it's
Lux
not
Breeze
that
median hybrid.
it's not that it's not that a hybrid's bad. It's that these breezes are so fucking stiff. I really do think they're going to discontinue them because there's just no way they intend the bed to feel like this. There's just no way.
But I say, Brian, why did you get this mattress then? Like, how were you there 6? And he goes, because I was tired and I was disoriented. I was hungry and I didn't know where I was anymore. Like he had been in this fucking store for so long that in the end it backfired because he was like, he hadn't seen sunlight in over 6 hours. He was like starting to lose his mind.
I never give myself that much time to make a decision.
About anything.
Nothing. The other day I went and I got my
Family
nails
planning.
done and I wanted a pink for Barbie, even though I didn't see the movie.
Oh yeah, your pink is so good, Noah. I've been looking at with the green sweatshirt that you're wearing. It's perfect.
Thank you. I picked a pink. She put it on and it was sheer. And I was like, I don't want sheer. I want it to cover. So she went and she brought me like 3 other colors. She put the first one on and then she was going to do the other one. And I was like, you know what? Don't even give me the choices. I like this. I like the one you put on my pinky. Let's keep it that way.
Same.
I cannot.
I went and got my nails done yesterday and the guy's like, is this good? He like, did a rounded one. And I was like, yeah, I don't care.
It's fine.
When they asked me rounded or flat or coffin shaped, I'm like, I'm thinking about coffins right now because I feel so bad that I don't care. I just don't care. I don't even know what woman would ever be like, I need it to be this shape of roundness, and they're all fucked up. The problem with going to nail salons is they gloop it on too much and then it will never dry. My toes were still not dry and I was pressing into them just to show how they weren't dry. 6 hours later, I could have bought a mattress in that time. And I was pressing into that and they still weren't dry. That is absurd. I want to go back there today. I have an hour and a half and it's 30 minutes away, but I want to drive back there just to say, look at this. This damage happened 6 hours after you guys painted it. And then not do anything because they'll just do it again. Like I just want them to see. And I forgot my sunglasses there. Do you ever forget something and you just go, how much were those sunglasses? They were $85. Okay, I wore them for 2 months. That was pretty. That was probably like $20 worth of wearing for like when I really expected to lose these things. This place is 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they have it, and I don't want to call ahead because they don't really speak English and they don't seem to like want to answer their phones based on when I was there. So maybe I just say goodbye to those glasses forever.
What you just described is my thought process for every single decision I make about anything.
Really?
I just analyze all that
Well, it doesn't seem
stuff.
like you don't seem to value your time if I was to be guessing about how you manage your
No,
life. Like,
I am valuing my time because I knew that if I picked the wrong mattress, I would suffer, and that would cost me way
but you
more time.
did suffer.
I
and
know.
It has wasted so much of your
Oh,
time.
my
Yesterday, he
time.
went on another mattress.
What?
I went to Macy's and I went to
Expedition.
another. I
Because he
wanted
has to get rid of this mattress. He hates it.
this mattress. So the thing about Tempur-Pedics is that there's a break-in period, and like they
Yes.
say that you have to lay in it for 30 days, and then it'll feel more like the store.
It's more than 30 days.
well, whatever.
like
It doesn't
4 or 5
matter.
months.
That's the
You know, this mattress is shit.
90 days is the time he has to return it.
Yeah.
But if he returns it, he's got to pay a restocking fee. But he also has the chance to return it, and then they just give you another mattress, and it's a fine. There's no restocking fee,
Yeah.
so that discourages people from returning it and then buying a new one. But if he gets a new mattress without the restocking fee, if they just exchange it and it's a clear exchange, he's stuck with it. There's no 90 day
that's the
anymore.
dilemma
so
right
he
now.
is at a
Gamble.
dilemma of what does he do? Because I would say just go with the one you know. Now you've been back to the store, you've tested your mattress that you thought you wanted. It sucks that even there now you realized when you got it you were not in the right state of mind. Get a mattress now that feels like
Normal.
the one that you originally wanted, the Tempur-Pedic that fits to your body, not this hybrid bullshit, not the Breeze bullshit.
Not the Breeze.
And but then I think about that and I go, nope. I think it's too much of a risk. Brian is too sensitive of a boy.
Yeah,
he's not gonna like this mattress. It's just too much of a. I'm stressed out for you, man. I don't know how you're
stressful.
gonna do this.
I went to the mattress store yesterday and I laid in the Breeze hybrid, the one that I bought, because I was like, did I just totally fuck this up? Because I must have laid it in the store and thought it was comfortable. That's why I bought
Right.
it. This just must not be broken in yet. So I went to the store because I was like, I want to lay in the mattress that I bought and see how it's supposed to feel.
Smart.
So I did that. I laid in it and I was like, this is the worst mattress I've ever laid in.
Oh.
so
it's
what was
as
going
bad
on
as it
with
is
you
in my
that day?
It's like my mattress isn't broken in. The one at the store is broken in, and it's like 2% softer.
I just don't understand. I gotta feel this mattress. I want to come over and lay on it because
By
I
all
can't
means.
imagine a mattress being so fucking bad that you have horrible night's sleep. Your back is like cracking in half from this sleep. Like
Yes.
I've just never heard of a mattress being that bad unless it had like spikes on it. Like I don't, or unless it was like a
There are spikes
a
on it.
sofa mattress that that has a bar going through it.
There are spikes on the end, and they cut you, and then there's like a river of acid that flows through the middle. That's what keeps it
Sounds
cool.
like it. Every time I see you, you're just like the worst night's sleep of my life.
Yeah, no, it really
This
fucks with
new
me.
Fucking mattress.
My wife
You're
laid in
so-
it, and she has her own bed, much softer. My wife, so she doesn't have to do anything with this. My wife
Maybe
laid
it's
in
time
it.
you two sleep in the same bed. Her bed.
She laid in the bed, and she said,
She has a king size bed.
She's got a king size bed all to herself, and she sprawls out like a starfish right in
For
the middle.
now, can you sleep in her bed so you don't have to like torture yourself anymore? You know
Well,
you're
I'm-
getting rid of this one.
I am torturing myself because just in case it breaks in, and I'm like, you know what? I actually love this bed. Like Noah was
Can you
suggesting.
pay
might
someone to
happen.
lay in it while you're at work or something, like to break it in faster? And are
I guess I could get
beds
a task
broken
rabbit.
in at the store because people are laying in them all day?
That is what I don't understand is how Tempur-Pedic could sell people a mattress that feels like shit for 90 days. And that's not just me. For many people. Why? How could
Because you're reading consumer reviews.
and Reddit. How could
I would
how
like to
could
say
that company
I have
survive?
a Tempur-Pedic mattress and I love it. So 2 opposing views here. It's the best
And yours-
mattress ever.
Do we know what model you have?
I was just trying to search through my email for it to see, but it might be. It has like that cooling technology in it. So I think it
They
might be
all
the
have
hybrid.
cooling technology, but this is the latest cooling technology.
Is
a
there
new
anyone
Breeze
that's
cooling
like
gel.
doesn't want to be cool when they sleep? And why is this a new technology? This is like wheels on luggage. Hasn't everyone always wanted to be cool when they
memory
sleep?
foam
Why
mattresses
are we so
sleep
late to
really
this?
hot. They sleep really hot. You sink into them and it heats up. And that was the initial complaint about memory foam is that they sleep too hot. I sweat all night. So they started injecting this cooling technology into their
God.
mattresses. And now I
gotta
think
get a
they've gone
mattress,
too
too.
far. But my wife laid in this mattress and she said,
she said-
I would rather sleep on the floor than sleep on this mattress. That's how stiff and hard it is. Anyway,
I don't know what you're gonna do.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to return and then get a Tempur-Pedic hybrid medium non-breeze Pro Adapt.
Okay.
But when you were talking about you lose stuff like your sunglasses or you leave it somewhere,
Yeah.
I lost my wallet this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, I lost my wallet, and Allie said, so this is where like I don't know if I don't have feelings or something, but I lost the wallet and I realized it was lost, and I've just always been this way. I just instantaneously moved on from the fact that I lost it, and within 30 minutes I'd replaced everything in the wallet. And Allie said that I have never seen someone move from like realization to losing something like that to like having it all taken care of so quickly.
I'm very similar. I realized that when I left my purse in a cab one time, and I remember someone was over at my house when I realized it. It might have been Andrew. I was at my apartment in New York. I realized I just got out of a cab and gotten up to my apartment, 4-floor walk up. And I get up there, we're up there for like a half hour, and I go, oh my God. And I know exactly what happened. There's no even question where it could be.
Yeah.
And I just was like, all right, well, that it's just immediate acceptance because any of this, like, oh God, no, I think it's a rebellion of my parents because, again, my parents would be like, why did you leave it there?
Yeah.
Like, because I wanted to. I really like losing things and replacing all my credit cards. Like, my mom's question constantly is like, why wouldn't you look before you got out?
Yeah,
and it's just like,
that's the worst.
Just this constant shame of like, how dumb are you to have done this thing? Like, it's your fault. And so now I think I just, in rebellion to that, which is a great thing, I just go immediately to acceptance. It's gone. Let's figure this out. Like when I realized yesterday I lost my glasses, it was just like, okay, do I care? I got some good times with them. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're cute. I think they're still in stock. I could still get them. And you know, I expected to lose them eventually, and it just happened sooner than later. There was a moment of like, man, they were in my lap. I knew I should have put them in my bag.
Yeah.
Bad, Nikki. And it was probably for 0.4 seconds that I felt that way. I pictured them in my lap, and I pictured putting them in my purse, and I go, why didn't you do that? And maybe I'll do it next time. But there's no point in beating yourself up because that doesn't bring them back.
I used to get like scolded and like, well, you're not getting another one. You're not getting another one. And I always lose my accessories. Like I hope I don't ever lose my engagement ring. This one I really look at, but I know that everything else that's jewelry is going to be lost one day unless I keep it in a safe and never touch it. And I always let myself off the hook for it because when I was younger, I was told, well, you're never going to get another one again. We're not buying you one. And now I'm just like, well, I work and I can buy myself another one if I lose it. No big deal.
Yeah, I was always just told this is why you can't have anything nice. You lose everything. You treat everything poorly. Mm-hmm. You don't care about nice things. You just don't deserve nice things. And I've been thinking about it recently, and I've been talking about it on stage, but I never got an American Girl doll. And my sister did. And I really think it was because, and she to this day is like a much more organized person, has 3 kids of her own, keeps track of everything, just is like such a good, efficient mom. And my parents just kind of knew I was not to be in charge of an American Girl doll. They had too much going on. My sister always got like Littlest Pet Shop. Those had so many little accessories. I was not going to keep track of all that bullshit and like Molly's chalkboard and Addie's basket. It was just, everything was going to get lost. And I'm still to this day. And it is nice. I think that is a reason why I have like being well off in that way, because now I kind of just, I don't know, when I do lose something or I'm like, oh, we can just get another, like I do like the casualness with I get to respond to these things, because my mom still does have that in her where it's like, Nick, you got a stain on that. Where'd you get this? You just gotta go, I'll just get another. It was $45. It's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, I can get that out. And I go, nope. I have money. Like, I just like to, it's like this little fuck you to the chronic shame I felt of ruining everything. We'll be right back after this and talk about more stuff. I want to get into a book that Noah is reading. Okay, we're back. Wait, one more thing Brian needs to say about this wallet.
So I lost the wallet. I knew exactly where I lost it. It fell out of my fucking fanny pack, which I have a habit of not zipping it up and just walking around with it flopping around. And I remember I was at a farmer's market once and I had it unzipped, and the farmer's market guy was like, "You got to zip your fanny pack," and I was like, "Nah, I'm fine." And that's when the writing was on the wall that one day I would lose my wallet. And so 6 months later, my wallet falls out of my fanny pack at a gas station. I lost it at the gas station. I was like talking on the phone, filling my gas with my fanny pack just open, just like your backpack.
You don't talk on the phone.
So this is a lesson. Like you could actually, something could fall out of there.
And you love talking on the phone so much. And we were talking about this, and it's like, stop talking on the phone. Just text people.
No, it's good.
You love a phone call.
I'll talk for hours on the phone. I'll talk. The only thing I'll do for longer than that is try out mattresses.
Buy a mattress.
I was talking on the phone, so I was distracted. I was filling up gas. I bought a lottery ticket, and then I dropped the wallet. The lottery ticket was not in the wallet. But the way I learned that my wallet was stolen, because I texted you. I was like, is the wallet in your hotel room? I called the gas station. I said, did anybody return the wallet? And they said no. And then I saw on my Chase account that there had been some purchases made. And then I looked up online, what are the chances that somebody finds your wallet and returns it? And they said that statistically, it's a 50-50 chance that 50% of the time when someone finds a wallet, they return it. Yeah. And then I was looking at this guy. He took my wallet and he bought $250 worth of Vans. He went to Vans and then he spent $80 at a 7-Eleven. And I'm just like, what? I don't think it's a kid. I just think it's what kind of piece of shit person sees a wallet on the ground and their first thought is to immediately drive to the mall. He drove to the fucking mall.
A kid.
You think it was a kid? Why is it a kid?
Honestly.
Vans, yes. I think it was.
No,
like
it's not just kids who want Vans.
I wonder what size they were. We could find out.
They were baby shoes. Then it's probably for his baby.
Yeah, I think a teen, like...
Maybe it was a teen.
I've had that moment where I remember in college, there was a girl walking in front of me who dropped some cash and I just pocketed it. And I'll never forget how wrong that felt and like, what the fuck? Like, I get it if you find cash and no one's around. Like, I'm not going to do a lot to be like, did anyone drop some cash? So it's like
the worst thing you can do is take the cash and try to give it to someone at the hotel desk or this
crazy.
Like, can you return this cash if someone comes by looking for the cash?
I'd never in a million years do that. But I saw this cash fall out of this girl's pocket and I pocketed it. And it's one of the worst things I've ever done in my life. I'm embarrassed to even admit that I did it. And it was like $3. I'm not even joking. It was like no money. But I was going through a hard time. I mean, I was a klepto back then anyway. And but yeah, the sociopathy that has to be going on in your head to steal
and my ID was in there.
It's sociopathic.
My ID was in there. He could have at least given the ID to the.
I know.
But instead he took the whole thing.
And if you put an ID in the mail, it'll send it to that address.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, maybe it'll show up
put it in a
one
mailbox.
Day. That's a really good tip. But yeah, like and like my Parks Pass was in there, and it's just like you can't use that Parks Pass, and so. I feel like I just lost faith in humanity.
That's what I always think is. Yeah, of course.
It's just like see a fucking wallet on the ground. You know where I live. You know where I lost it.
That's why I put my phone number. Like Chris got me a label maker. I put my phone number and my name, Nikki G, on all my AirPods and on my laptop because most people are good.
Yeah.
And this is what I've said before about the airport thing. Like, leave your luggage. Like, most people are not going to buy a ticket to go on a plane, get inside, and then just start stealing things and steal a guitar that they then have to bring on their flight. Like, this isn't pre 9/11 where you can just walk into an airport. And even then, I would have probably trusted things. Most people are not going to steal things, but I'd say it was more than 50% chance, depending on where you are, of course, but that you're going to get it back. Because most people aren't insane like this. I mean, I go to Starbucks all the time and I have my laptop out and my wallet and stuff. And I will go to the bathroom and just leave it. And I don't ask a person near me, can you watch this? Because I'm like, I assume everyone's kind of looking out for each other. And that's probably naive. And knock on wood, I haven't had anyone steal anything from me. But just in case, put
your phone
your
stolen
name
from
and
your
number
hand.
on things. Huh?
You had your phone stolen from your hand, remember?
Yeah, but that's like from my hand. This wasn't because I like left it sitting out. Like you can't really prevent that. And now I do. I will never on that corner. It's right across from my apartment. I will never walk stupidly with my phone in my hand by my apartment on that same block anymore. I mean, maybe that's not the.
Someone
I should
just
never walk
snatched
with
it
it
and
ever.
ran?
Dude, it was like a relay race. Like I was holding out a baton. He got a running start. He came at me running and just grabbed it from my hand so fast I didn't even notice. And then he was running down the street. A bunch of people saw. They were all around me. It was like a crowded moment in my neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And these two girls witnessed me have my phone stolen. And he was a kid. I think he was probably like 12, 13 years old. And he was running away. And everyone wants to know, like, what race? It was a 5K. No, I don't know what race he was. He had a hoodie on, but he was running away. And I just go, come on. Oh, come on. And I just love the idea that he'd be like, all right, know what? I will come on. Like, this is crazy. What am I doing with my life? But I really just wanted the phone case because it was this Taylor Swift phone case that I had spent a lot of money on Etsy and I really loved. And, but yeah, I immediately accepted it in a way. This reminds me exactly what you're talking about. These girls that witnessed it were like, oh my God. And I just picked up my Trader Joe. I just was like, nah. Well, I guess he needs it more than I do. I literally was over it within seconds. I said, come on. Okay. And I just was like, guess I'll be on my laptop texting tonight. I have to go to the Verizon store tomorrow. Like, I just already accepted it because what good? And they were like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, what? I'm not going to call the police. Like, then I have to deal with them coming by my place and writing a report.
Shit. They're not
going to do anything.
No.
Well, who cares?
I would be more torn over like, oh my God, this guy's going to see my photos. Was the phone unlocked? Were you using it?
Yeah, I was using it. I was texting someone at the time. I wasn't worried about that because I would benefit from any photos leaking. Anything. Please break into my iCloud and use all the naked photos that I have in there.
No.
Begging you. I'll be more famous because of it. I will be really hurt
But on your
and
phone, there's
discouraged
so
and sad.
much more information.
But it will
than
be
just
so
naked
good for
photos.
me.
There's so much information
Right, but like
on
you
there.
could just get that from me anyway. I'm, like if they're gonna fish
just
you and
ask.
find your stuff, like I don't want that to happen. Please God, no. But when it comes to videos and naked photos and stuff, what are you gonna do?
I would be a
and
lot more upset if I lost my phone than my wallet. My wallet is like you can cancel the credit cards and then those numbers are just useless now. And I can get the one thing that's funny that they have now is my WGA card. So like they can go swipe in at the picket lines if they wanted to, or go get into the WGA library. They could maybe they'll start submitting packets.
They need to wear out those new vans in the line picketing. The phone though, I think I would rather, because you know what, if I lose my ID, I have to go to the DMV. There's no way around it. You have to go wait in line, take a ticket number, sit in that terrible space, wait for your number to be called, realize you don't have all the right documentation. They send you back. It's like a lot of red tape. With a phone, you just have to like wait for the Apple logo to like upload, and it takes like 20 minutes at the store, and then everything comes back pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, with the ID,
you have to go.
In California, you don't have to go. I just went on the website and I said someone stole my ID, and they send you a new one for $30.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. That's not bad.
Nothing that's why it wasn't so bad. I gave myself like 15 seconds to be upset, to do the thing that those girls were doing. I went, I was just like, why do I have to do this? And I went down on my knees and I landed on the couch, and then I got up and I did everything, and I thought
you were going to say the floor or the mattress would have been the same feeling.
I landed on the mattress, and it was very painful. And then I got up and I did it. I fixed everything, the ID. The only thing I haven't gotten back yet was my WGA card, which they need to call me back.
Well, I guess some would say that you must mourn these things, and maybe the approach that we have is not healthy because it will just push down feelings of like loss. Like, I think even with death, sometimes I can be this way. When I find out someone dies, I'm just like, all right, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. Let's figure out what's next. Like, I'm not going to me crying about it's not going to bring this person back, isn't going to change anything. Like, practical. Let's think about moving forward. Pee Wee Herman died. I just saw that on my phone. I was like sad, but then I was like, well, Of course. What did I think he was going to live forever? Like, what? Everyone has to die. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah. Oh God, that sucks. Okay,
Yeah.
but there's nothing I can do about it. It's just, I think it's maybe an unhealthy way to look at things sometimes to move on from them so fast because I know, my friend Kirsten this weekend dropped a plate of cookies and was crying about it, and like, she scraped her knee too, and she spent all this time working on these cookies, and they fell. And they like were all over her garage floor and they were ruined and they were wet. So like, because I was like, if they're dry, just like wipe them off with a paper towel or like blow on them hard.
It was fudge.
But it was like fudge, wet fudge on like, dirty floor. So they were ruined.
Yeah.
And she sent a picture and she was like, her face was like cryy looking. And she mourned them. Like she's like processes her emotions in a really good way. I would have just been like, it was always going to happen.
Yeah, but
Couldn't
what
have
if you
changed
don't
it.
feel anything? You drop them, you're a little pissed at yourself, and then you don't feel the sadness. Is that bad?
But maybe you don't feel the sadness because you're not letting it in. That's always what I wonder. Like the reason I'm not feeling it is because I'm not in tune with it.
Is that why I'm in so much pain?
Its way. I'm gonna want to cut myself later because of this, like in weeks, or like I'm gonna want to do. I'm gonna be depressed later because I'm not feeling this feeling.
Oh, it's like delayed?
Yeah, repressed.
So if I dropped a plate of cookies, I need to like mourn them for 30 minutes before moving on, or else I'll get depressed later, or I'll feel pain.
Maybe.
Is that real? Or why can't it just be like, I'm not a guy who gets emotional like that. Like I don't feel the emotion at all. That's what I'm saying about the wallet. It's like I was frustrated for like a few, like 30 seconds, but then I didn't feel anything. Like
no
I
reason
rarely
to be.
feel anything.
Well, but you do because you are generally disgruntled about a lot of things. You feel things so much.
That's like the only thing I feel is disgruntled. But like,
well, the mattress thing it makes sense to feel disgruntled about. There's something you can do about it. The wallet, it's out of your hands, literally. There's nothing you can do.
It's out of my pack.
And I think that is just a freeing feeling. When something's truly out of my hands, I'm just like, well, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
Like
acceptance is I think what Kirsten did is just taking the long road to the goal of acceptance. And like for whatever reason, when you lost your phone and I lost my wallet, we didn't have to go through Sadness Town in order to get to Acceptanceville.
Yeah, we went around.
Yeah, we took the freeway, or we took a helicopter in the fog.
Oh my God! Yeah, never do that. Why would you ever go? Just let's do it anyway. I mean, I understand why it's been happening in the past. Understand why Kobe was like, let's just go through it and get to it because he's a guy that has achieved the impossible.
Mm-hmm.
There's no obstacle he couldn't just find a way through. It like fits with his character to be like, this is the best pilot. I only have the best. There's a little bit of fog. I've been through fog in helicopters before. Let's just do it. But if you're not Kobe Bryant and you haven't achieved the impossible, don't fucking go. Don't just trust fog. Would you ever drive through fog? I would pull over on the side of the road. Final thought.
I've driven through fog. I mean, there was one time I was in a snowstorm. I was driving in South Dakota on the way to Badlands National Park, and I really felt like this is the closest I ever come to dying in a car besides an accident, because I was losing control of the car on the icy road like every 2 minutes, and we would be driving past other cars that had gone over the edge into the snowdrift on the side of the highway.
God.
And then there was a point where there was also construction. And it was the craziest type of construction you can have. Imagine you're on a highway, a 65 in South Dakota. It was 80 mile an hour highway. You know how highways have a median?
Yeah.
This construction closed one side of the highway and directed traffic over the median onto the other side of the highway. So now
it was 2-lane highway.
You're on a 2-lane highway, but it's an 80 mile an hour. It's an 80 mile an hour 4-lane highway going in both directions. And that right then would freak me the fuck out. But also it was icy blizzard conditions. And so I was like, this is fucking insane.
No.
Every few minutes, the steering wheel of the car would not work anymore. I
don't like the outdoors.
It would be on an ice drift, and I would just be like, when you're on an ice drift in the car, you just have to let go of the wheel, sort of, and just glide along with it. It's called It's like similar to hydroplaning. You just have to kind of glide and let it go. Because if you fight against it, you'll just skid out. And that's what those other people did.
I'd be so mad at my boyfriend for wanting to go to the fucking Badlands.
Yes.
If we ended up on a highway that was iced over going 80 miles an hour at
No.
each other, I would file for divorce before we were married.
It was horrible.
I would say I would never, ever. Honestly, I would be happy because it would prove everything I'm scared of. Like, this is why we don't do this stuff. Like, this is why I don't go. What are the Badlands?
So
why were they? What?
it's a national park.
Why were you even doing this?
It's one of the me and Allie want to go to all 63 national parks before we die, and this is one of the
Yes.
national parks. And
Well, you better get to it soon because it sounds like you're putting yourself in situations where you're going to die all the time to do this.
well, we did and also we were on that road for over 2 hours. The head-to-head 80-mile-an-hour highway in the blizzard. It was insane. And you're in South Dakota. There was like, well, we can't just pull
Why not
over.
pull over?
Yeah.
We can't just pull over and then just be in the cold. We need to find a town, and there just isn't any. There's just nowhere to go. So we just had to keep going because we were going to the middle of nowhere. We're going to the Badlands. We were staying in an Airbnb in Wasta, a little town that's got like 15 people in it. We had to make it to Wasta. So we made it. It did wind up paying off because we get to the Badlands and the roads are closed because we got off the road just in time. They closed all the roads because of the blizzard. So nobody can get to where we are at all in any way. So we go to the Badlands and we ask the park ranger how many cars are in the park. And he said, you are one of 3 cars in the entire park. And so we went into this park. It was like a winter wonderland, and we were the only ones there. And that was amazing. And we only did it.
Worth almost dying for.
Not worth almost dying for at all. But there was a payoff.
Like, if you had kids, would you have continued that journey?
I would have.
In the car.
I would have gone twice as fast. Oh, Brian.
Okay,
Well, no,
I have
I
a stupid
probably-
question,
I-
Brian. Doesn't the snow, though, make it look just like any other snow-covered park?
No, this
Thank you,
looked
Noah,
amazing. I can
for
show you
representing my
pictures.
side on
It
this.
looked pretty amazing. I mean, it was amazing just being there. It was freezing. It was
That
like 1
stresses
degree.
me out. That first of all, I just think you get there and there's no stores open. There's nothing.
There was
There's
nothing.
no. That sounds like hell.
We ate
What do you do
soup.
for food?
Well, we had food in the car because this was like we were doing a cross country road trip and we had food in the
Okay.
car. But it was like
That's
we were
fun.
at that point we were so starved for a hot meal. It was like we were eating canned soup or like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for days, and we were like, man, it would be nice to just
What
have an actual
is the
restaurant.
payoff here? Just seeing beautiful trees with snow on them? Like, what's the payoff for going? I'm not playing dumb. I know this comes up all the time on the show. Like, what, Nikki, why can't you just understand the beauty of a hike or whatever? What's the point of all of this?
The point of it is that there is no point to anything.
They're
in life.
bonding. It's the bonding
And so
experience.
all that matters
No?
is, I don't think it's, well, yeah, we did bond, but that's not what, we didn't do it so we can bond.
Is the point to look at pretty things?
There is no
If
point.
that's the point, that's a point.
There is no point to doing anything in life. Life is inherently meaningless and pointless. And so all you have to do is decide that something has a point, and then it does.
But so what is that point that you decided?
It was an
matters?
adventure. It was
that you
like-
can scratch off that on your bucket
For
list.
me, I love the idea of checking off that I'm on my list, but also it was an adventure, and that trip, we could have stayed. It was like a 7-week trip. We could have stayed at home and experienced nothing for 7 weeks, but now we
No,
went
you
and we
could go out to
experienced.
brunch. You could go on walks. You could go shopping. You could watch a bunch of TV shows. You could like.
But we could do
you
that.
could go on hikes around here.
But that's not that wouldn't have been as special. This was really special. We had an
Okay.
amazing time, and that's why people go. I think there's a certain level where you shouldn't go in a helicopter in the middle of the fog because like your chances of dying are so high. Like I wouldn't skydive, but like this to
Right.
me, and we didn't anticipate being trapped in this snowstorm. This is just
But
something that
it's-
happened.
right, but you did go in the winter to a place that could have snowy.
That was poor
snowiness
planning.
With not a lot of rest stops.
Well, no,
My
it wasn't. It wasn't the winter. It was a a unseasonable Arctic blast.
Well,
that
you
caused
went
this.
during climate change,
Yes.
and that shit happens.
It
So
was
it's
like-
on you.
Yeah.
No, I will say that there is something in me that does understand why hikes would be nice, because I'm staying on this ranch and there is a tiny patch. It's probably 0.4 miles. So it's a little patch, less than a 20th of a mile. And it's beautiful, and it's like you walk through it and you're like in the woods, and there's a waterfall, and it's so nice. And I will walk that back and forth, just listening to a good song. That's my kind of hiking.
Yeah.
It's right off from where I live. It is within, I don't have to drive anywhere to get to it. I don't have to, there's no climbing. There's an end. Anytime I want it to be, I am 0.04 miles from an end. It is right there. It's just a pathway. And I can just go back and forth and get that sense of nature. And I found myself just going back and forth so often. And I go, oh my God, I think I like hiking. But the truth is, I still don't like hiking, because all the things about hiking that I don't like are not involved in this. This is what I like. I like finding a wooded path that I can walk back and forth on. Like it's the courtyard of my retirement home, and they just built it so, I could pretend I'm out in the woods. That's what I like.
Yeah.
So I do understand, like, being in nature feels good, but I want it to be close by. And man, I'm just like, I'm angry about this 2-lane highway experience.
Oh,
you had
that
to
was
go
bad.
on.
I mean, I
I'm
wouldn't
so
choose
mad
to
at
do
you.
that.
I want Allie to file. Was she mad about it, or was she just like, oh no, she likes this stuff, so she was probably like,
Yeah,
oh,
she
this
is
is scary, but
way-
we did it.
She's way less risk averse than me. I was like white knuckles, like I was freaked out. I was like, this is really bad. And
You could have died.
she was freaked out normal, which is like, for her, that is like screaming your head off. I was like, this is insane. That was, I would never choose to do that. I don't even like driving on a regular 2-way like road, like a country road. I think it's so stupid that you can drive over 50 miles an hour in opposite directions on a road and just trust that the other person's not going to go over the yellow line. The yellow line doesn't stop anything. It's just a line in the middle of the road,
It's
painted.
just a line, and people be texting, man. People be grabbing an ice cream cone that they dropped in the passenger side seat. That's how Dawson's dad died.
Oh my God.
You ever like reach for something that dropped, and you're like, you can't help but the steering wheel moves with you?
Yeah.
Like I can't believe people aren't
Oh,
just
no,
like
there's some
careening
really
into
dumb
each other so
things.
much more often.
When you're eating in the car, one time I was eating in the car and like, I forgot, it was like something like a little bean, like a little tiny piece of the thing that I was eating fell. And
Oh my God.
and for some reason I was like, I cannot allow that little bean to be on the floor of my car for
Yes.
another second while I'm driving. So I was reaching for the bean, and I felt myself like I'm out of control
Swerving.
right now.
Yes.
I was like, what the and I had to stop myself. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Is it really
What
worth
is
dying
happening?
to pick up this bean? I'm gonna be done driving in 30 minutes, and I could spend all day looking for the bean. Why do I have to do it now?
I relate to it so much. It's so reckless. It's so stupid. We have to go, but I wanted to just say what I want to get to tomorrow on the show. This weekend, I met one of the richest people in the planet, and I can't wait to talk about that. And truly one of the most wealthy people on planet Earth. And I got to like interview them about being so wealthy, which is so exciting. And then I want to talk about the book you're reading, Noah.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the festival you went to this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and then I think Anya will be with us tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see if her internet is up and working. But that's everything that you will get from the podcast tomorrow. Thank you for listening today. Anya, we missed you. Don't be cut, and just don't take any chances. Pull over. Get the bean later.